Hi, I wanted to welcome you to the Divorce Planning Podcast. I'm Carri Goldring, and I'm in the mortgage business, and I do planning pre-divorce for people who are either going to refinance their home, do an equity buyout, or plan to purchase a new home and make sure that everything in the divorce decree is worded properly and the numbers in the planning is taken care of so that you can go through the underwriting process smoothly. And I would like to introduce you to other people who are interested in the divorce planning process so you can get a real education of what's involved. Hope you enjoy. Hi, today I have with me Laura Crossett from Soberlink, and I was lucky enough to be in charge of sponsors for the collaborative group of Michigan, and Soberlink was a very generous sponsor, and then that turned into being a guest on the podcast. So Laura, I welcome you.
Thank you, Carri. It is great to be here. Thank you.
You're welcome. So tell my audience, if they don't know, what is Soberlink?
Simply put, Soberlink is a remote alcohol monitoring system. It's all comprehensive system. So there's the physical piece, which is the actual physical breathalyzer, which is wireless, cordless, portable, rechargeable. Then there is the platform or all the test data that gets sent either through cellular or Wi-Fi signal, depending on your device. The device has a digital camera. It's very tiny, but it will take your photo every time you submit a test. Then the results are available in real time. I can even test for you on the air now if you'd like, but it takes less than a minute. You'd see the results right away. And then that means you also see the results that are being shared with who you identify as contacts on your account, whether that is an attorney, an opposing side's attorney, your ex, soon to be ex, current partner, any other family members, anyone else that is invested in your well-being and health or safety of children, if that comes up. So there's numerous applications for how Soberlink can be used, but basically it's a way for you or the other person to demonstrate accountability.
Okay, so if I'm in the midst of a divorce and I'm worried that my soon-to-be ex is drinking around my children, is that when something like this would come up?
Yes. Now, Soberlink can be ordered by the judge or it can be voluntarily participated in. So hopefully in that situation, they would voluntarily enroll. And we offer two levels, level one, level two. Level one is submitting alcohol breathalyzer tests only when you are with the kids. So then on non-parenting days, you are not required to submit any tests. Level two would be scheduled daily testing 7 days a week. That's typically more for the primary caregiver or if the drinking has been demonstrated to be, severe, to where that is absolutely, a necessary step for everyone's well-being. But if it's something like there was a couple binge episodes or there's concerns, there's no legal problems yet. Typically, the one parent, if they enroll in the level one parenting time only, that's where you'll get a lot more uh, people, agreeing to participate. They might really put up walls if you're suggesting something like 100% sobriety. But if you're saying just for when you're with the kids, you might have more of a conversation about alcohol and the safety of the kids rather than I'm suggesting something that's going to completely change your whole life, like recovery.
Right. So I have a dumb question. So let's say I'm a parent and I'm divorced and my kids text me, I'm in the car with dad, he's drunk, he's swerving all over the road. So now as the other parent, I'm super, super concerned. He of course says, there's no problem and he's not drinking. Do I call my attorney and say, hey, we need to do a court order to get him to do Soberlink? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, typically if the attorney finds that there's a judge's order is the next indicated step, as we say, then they usually have enough information to share with the judge then where they would expect that that's how the ruling would come in.
So you'd have
Um,
to have documentation that somebody's drinking somehow.
yes, but these things can also be agreed upon between the two lawyers or between the two parties.
Okay.
That would be ideal, I would think, if you're going through something like this, because there's more of it's collaborative. Yes, we agree. We have the same goal in mind, is to keep the kids safe. It's not pointing fingers and giving you a label. It's let's keep the kids safe. That way, I'm not calling you every 5 minutes to make sure you're not drinking. So I'm not all over you. I'm staying out of it, and I'm just waiting for the test results to come in. And you're able to demonstrate that you're being sober and safe around the kids without anyone calling you and hassling you. So it works for the client if they're open to seeing it that way. It does work for them because there's no one in their personal life that's acting as that policing role.
Right. And then if someone says, oh, yes, I want to use Soberlink, how do they get the hardware?
Easily online, we offer a rental program for the actual device. You can either select a 4-month minimum or a 12-month minimum. The 12-month minimum is usually only selected, if there is a really long-term need, it's been ordered. Um, Otherwise, 12 months, a lot can happen in 12 months. So typically people sign up for just the 4-month minimum, and you can kind of make an assessment from that point on. And then from there, you order the device rental, and then you have to sign a monitoring agreement, and that is signed by two people. Usually those two people are both parents. One has to be the person submitting tests. The second signer can be, though, the attorney if there is going to be possibly delays in getting that agreement signed. If the other parent may hesitate on signing in order to stop the you know unification of kids and other parent. So sometimes other family members or an attorney or guardian ad litem, other people will be that second signer, move things
Okay. So it
along.
is typically a short-term thing. It's not the kids are 8 and we're going to do it for 10 years.
Typically, no. Maybe I think the average is maybe like 9 months to a year, maybe. But
Okay.
a lot of it goes by the court dates, right?
Right.
As things are decided. And best case scenario is when the monitored client, the person submitting the test, does see how it is helpful for them. They're able to show and demonstrate that they are staying sober when they're with the kids. The kids, obviously, the most important people in this equation.
Right.
They're not having those traumatic experiences of riding in the back seat and knowing something's wrong with mom or dad. They're able to have childhood memories as they grow older of spending time with that parent when they're not under the influence. Um, and maybe, hopefully, best case scenario, the parent who is participating by submitting tests is seeing that as well. Like, wow, I'm not creating any memories that are me, acting, you know, flying off the handle or slurring my words or falling down or any of those
Right.
things that can happen if someone drinks too much. They're able to sidestep all of that if they embrace the concept of the monitoring program.
Okay. So would you say it's typically used for someone who realizes they have an alcohol problem more than someone who is like in total denial?
Interesting question. I think probably that inside voice, people know that the
Mm-hmm.
reason why the subject of alcohol is even coming up is because there's reasons that they can point to. Um, they may think they have it under control, or that was an isolated incident, that people are talking about. There might be some, you know, different ways of remembering the truth. Um,
Okay.
but I think usually the monitored client knows why that
Okay.
it's, even being brought up.
Okay. And no one has to go through any type of drug testing or alcohol testing or anything like that before going on Soberlink.
No, we only test for alcohol. It is a alcohol breathalyzer. No other substance is tested in the device. However, what we've seen sometimes, say they forgot the device at home and they missed like 3 or 4 tests. So there's a window of time where there's missed tests. Sometimes a client will go to a local lab and get either urine or blood work done just to substantiate that time missed. But we don't require any additional supplemental testing, although, depending on the attorneys, depending on the clients, if they're aware that those things exist, they will come up.
And there's no alarm that goes off and says you need to test now or anything
No,
like
no,
that.
it doesn't make any noise at all. The only noise is the air that you're blowing when you're blowing into it. Is this, the slight whoosh of air, but and then when it captures the test, it kind of makes a click, but there's no beeping. So if you needed to step aside, run into a restroom, if you're at the movies, something like that, it can easily be done. There's no obvious beeping or anything like that.
Okay. All right. So of course my like very terrible mind says, oh, well, someone's going to go to the bar and they're going to breathe into this thing and then they're going to order drinks and drive away.
Yes. So we do have, if you go to our website, soberlink.com, and there's a family law section. The 3 markets that we work in are family law for child custody cases, addiction recovery, so people just entering, discharging from, say, a residential treatment center and entering into their life in recovery, and then licensed professionals for workplace compliance. So those are our 3 markets basically. But in the family law section, there is a family law professionals section. And if clients can go explore that and they can find out about best practices for scheduling. So one may think, sometimes people think, oh, one breathalyzer test per day is adequate. That's one test every 24 hours. We know that that's not enough to capture a drinking event. And even twice a day, say if someone wants to test at 9 and 9 a.m. and 9 p.m., still a drinking event could go by undetected.
Right.
So what we say in our best practices is we recommend no more than 10 hours lapse between
Okay.
scheduled tests. So typically that's going to be the overnight when you're sleeping. Because if too much time passes and a drinking event goes by undetected, well, then we're missing the point of the monitoring. We want to have it
Right.
frequent enough that even trace amounts can be detected. So you're at least able to detect that the tail end of a drinking event if one occurred.
Right. Yeah, that's what my cynical self, that's where that's where I go.
No, it's a great question. And people are do consider that. I I I know the monitored clients consider that. It's important that the person requesting or the other parent is aware of the world of, trying to create a test schedule that's advantageous to someone who wants to continue drinking and
Right.
not make any changes at all. There's a lot of information on our website that helps, kind of open your eyes to, it's not just a device you blow into that captures the BAC. You want to know the why and the how.
Okay.
Yeah.
So tell me the web link again so people can look it up.
Yes, very easy. Soberlink.com.
Okay,
And
perfect.
then, like I said, at the headings at the top are our different markets that we serve. For your audience, people will want to probably hover over family law, and then they'll see that they can drop into the family law professional section, and that's where there's lots of educational resources for attorneys, but I think just as valuable for the client to take a look
I
at that
love it.
stuff. So if they're making
Wonderful.
a request, they know what to ask for.
Right, which is great because I bet you a lot of people don't even know that something like this even exists.
Right. Or that the other parent can do it part-time. So we're not
Right,
asking them to stay sober for the rest of your life starting today. We're just saying when you're with the kids. It's not a huge ask. It's something I think everyone can agree on.
right.
Um, so that's why that level 1 program exists, which is, I think, a great compromise, and definitely is our more popular enrollment is the level 1.
Wonderful. Anything else that you want to add before we wrap up?
Yes, also on our website is pricing. Obviously, there are two costs involved. One is the device rental, and then there's a monthly monitoring fee, and that just kind of depends on how many contacts you want on your account or what type of messaging, whether it's text or email. So there's three, like a basic, plus, and premium. Things average about $200 a month, I would say, for the monitoring fee. And then there's the device rental, which is 29 a month. If this makes one of your listeners or more than one of your listeners stop right now and say, can't, there's no resources for that. We do offer a family assistance program, which we're very proud and honored to be able to offer, because what this means to Soberlink at the end of the day is we are providing a service that's going to keep more kids safe. And that's what we are very happy about. The website, I could spell it out. It gets quite long. If you were just to go to Google and say Soberlink Family Assistance Program, it brings you right to that section of the website. It's a simple application where you would just upload one of, like a W-2 or a pay stub, or, evidence of receiving food stamp assistance, things like that. Upload one of those documents. We give a response to the application within 48 hours, largely same day, but for 2 business days is safe to say. And then the rates go down to $1 a month for the device
Wow.
rental. And then the monthly fee is either $50 or $80. So it's a great, great discount. If it's you or your the other parent in for your kids that is someone that might be a good candidate for this program, please don't hesitate to apply. It doesn't take a long time to submit the application, and you'll get an answer very quickly. So things can get moving very, very fast um, once you're approved. So it's a great deal, and we're
Yeah,
really, really happy to offer it.
it's nice because then there's no excuse we couldn't afford it, so we didn't do it,
Right.
which you never want to hear for kids and driving under the influence.
Exactly. And so, discussions here were groceries for the month or Soberlink.
Here.
We can't be part of
Don't
that.
buy the alcohol. You can afford the
Right,
Soberlink.
right, right. Yes.
That makes good sense. So how long
Mhm.
has Soberlink been around?
About 15 years.
Okay.
The device is FDA cleared. When I mentioned workplace compliance, we're also in the friendly skies. A lot of major airlines for the pilots monitoring programs.
Ah, smart.
Soberlink is part of the monitoring programs for these licensed professionals, also doctors, nurses, lawyers, even.
Very smart.
There's assistance programs for all these licensed professionals, and many states have state boards that manage these programs, and we are a part of the many pieces that are a part of those monitoring programs,
I'll tell you, that
which have
has to make
really
you
great.
feel good, right? When you get into an airplane to know that someone's checking.
Yeah, yeah. I always like to peek because sometimes you can see, we see the test photos come through. So sometimes you see a cockpit, and so you kind of wonder if it's, your flight, you know.
Right. Yeah, it's kind of a nice service that just makes you feel a little more secure.
Hmm. It
That's
does.
true. Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for explaining this and educating people that there's other resources out there that they may not have otherwise known about. So
Yes,
appreciate it.
it's a great tool. Especially if there's any concern, because things like leaving a door open with a toddler, I mean, because of absent-mindedness from alcohol, it may not be verbal abuse or, something that's outright hurting a child. It could be just leaving a door open, things like that. We're just happy to be in place providing real-time results, whereas lab testing is, a day or two. So,
Right. No, I think it's great, and I like that it takes the picture so you don't have somebody else doing it for you.
mhm.
It's
Yep,
very
that comes up from time to time as well.
sure. I'm sure.
Tampering. Yeah.
I'm
Yep.
sure. All right. Well, thank you, Laura. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you so much. I'm sure, we could probably talk for another 30 or 60 minutes, but I appreciate all the time that you've given to me and to Soberlink today. So thank you.
I hope you enjoyed the podcast. I'm Carri Goldring, and if you ever have any questions regarding mortgage, feel free to give me a call or send me a text message, 248-420-4524. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day.